Greetings, fellow heralds of Ogar. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of a brand new series covering Cataclismo. If you would like to skip the game's overview or the details of this series, please use YouTube chapters. Welcome everybody to a brand new series playing Cataclismo. For those that don't know, Cataclismo is a game where you design and build fortresses brick by brick and stone by stone to stand against the endless hordes of horrors. It's a real-time strategy game with resource management, siege defense, and exploration. It feels a bit like a medieval They Are Billions, but with similar building and combat mechanics to Going Medieval. I will be playing on medium difficulty and starting a new campaign where I play the tutorial missions and then showcase the game and its mechanics. I'll be incorporating live viewer feedback through polling to decide on some of the major decisions, and also if you've played before, please no spoilers. So I am going to be playing with all tutorials on and on medium difficulty. The game actually updated today to even further balance the difficulties. The campaign is currently in development as this is an early access game. So that was what that warning said.
So, you've come to talk of Lady Iris. It's true, she has shared my fire from time to time. Sit down. Rest. I still remember that day, outside Ogar. The day I met her, the Lady Iris herself. These blasted woods are so gloomy. Oh, why did I volunteer for this?
So move the camera around. Move the camera with WSD or by moving the mouse towards the screen edges. Rotate the camera by pressing middle mouse button and moving the mouse or Q and E. So Q and E allows you to tilt and pan, whereas or the middle mouse button, the Q and E is like rotate maybe 45 degrees, I think. You can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. For distance bird's eye view of the map, press M, as in Mike. From the strategic view, you can quickly zoom in on any part of the map with less mouse button. So do that.
I'd better keep moving if I'm to deliver this message.
Unit selection and movement. To move a unit, first select it with left mouse button and then use right mouse button to order it towards a desired location. Try moving to the banner. When a unit is ordered to move, a deploy mark will appear. You can also select a unit by clicking its deploy mark. You can use this to alter a unit's movement while it's still en route. So select the unit, either with the drag box or just clicking it. And I can also click the destination target to reroute them as well.
Perhaps this way. Doing it.
Consulting tutorials again. If you forgot something, you can check any tutorial again in the pause menu. More tutorials will be added as you play. So here's the pause menu for tutorials. And this is the tutorial list so far.
On it. The mist. It could almost be beautiful. We're lucky to have masks. Where to? Right away. Clouds be damned. A horror. This creature, it might have once been... No, don't think about it. It's just vermin now. Kill or be killed.
Deployed troops will automatically attack any horror in their range. Move closer and see.
Post me high. Uh-huh. Softly. Let me think about this.
Stop time by pressing space or by pressing the pause symbol at the top of the screen. You can also speed up time by pressing F or clicking the fast forward symbol.
On it. Doing it. It's done. All this trouble to find some scholar. Right away. A camp. So this must be... Lady Iris, I bring word from Ogar. The city is...
Do I look like a scholar, Herald? The lady's gone on alone. Easy for her, but... I'd best go with you to deliver your message.
Select both units. Hold and drag left mouse button to create a selection box, then release. So here's both units in the group. Deploy all selected units with right mouse button at the desired location, down here. And now they move together. All human troops fight from distance. Hover over a deployed troop to view its range. Each troop has its own role, strengths, and weaknesses. Lobbers can resist some physical damage, but have a small attack range. Bowmen are fragile, but can target enemies from afar. So if I mouse over them,
Yeah.
we can see that they have attack damage, attack cooldowns, deploy size, oxygen cost we'll get into a little bit later on, and ranges.
Yes?
Yeah.
So here is the Lobber's range in green, and the Bowman's range in white.
On it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's take them down from above.
Troops at the right height. Different troops will fight better at different heights. Low ground troops are used against targets at similar heights to them, while high ground units need higher ground to deliver the most effective blows. All units get attack bonuses at the right height. For example, high ground units benefit from being 5 to 10 meters higher than their target. Try hovering on the diamond above a troop's portrait to see the preferred height. So a lobber's preferred height is 4 meters or less above the target, and when this is true, they get increased splash damage.
Yes?
A bowman prefers to be at least 5 meters higher than the target, and if this is true, they gain increased critical chance.
Doing it.
So there are 3 enemies up ahead,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to use the height advantage to take them out. So I'm going to put the lobber down here,
Where to?
and the bowman up here, to take advantage of their height differences.
Right.
Not that the enemies can actually
Let's
get to me
carry
in this
on.
case.
Post me high. Doing it. On it.
But that's the concept of different units at different heights.
Right away. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
See that ancient beacon? Only one person can light him. The lady passed through here.
We need to cross. Let's check that salvage pile for something we can use.
I'm ready. A solid plan.
So, on the map, there are piles of salvage, and that allows you to build structures. Building structures is critical to surviving in these forgotten lands. All building pieces can be selected from the build menu. Let's start with wooden pieces.
Right.
The build menu is here on the left. With a piece selected, move your cursor to the location you want to build it. Rotate the piece with right mouse button. Build the piece by pressing left mouse button. So I can build here, and when placing pieces, you can hold left shift and use mouse scroll wheel to cycle through the recent pieces quickly. If you hold and drag, you can build multiple pieces in a straight line. You can recover any piece you've placed by pressing the recycle button and then left mouse button. Pieces can be recycled and rebuilt as many times as you want.
Let's get on with it.
So if I hit X as an X-ray, that's the recycle. And then if you want to copy what you've already put down, you can hit V as in Victor and click a piece to replicate it. And then holding Shift and mouse wheel allows you to cycle through recent pieces that you've deployed. So you don't have to select it from the left menu. But there we go, I've bridged the gap. So let's get moving.
Right away. Doing it.
Now if I wanted to, I could recycle these pieces behind me, but there's not much need to in this tutorial mission.
What a messy stairway.
Structures can be built out of wood and stone pieces. Wood pieces are quick, cheap, and versatile, but not very resilient. They're ideal for reaching distant places quickly. Stone pieces are a lot stronger and ideal for building defenses, but they are heavy and require more support. So let's pick up this stone salvage.
Where to? On it.
And then we need to build a path up there. So we have stair pieces, which will be pretty invaluable. So I could put one, let's say here and here. And that gets us up most of the way. And then I could put a stair here. I actually, in this case, don't need to use the stone at all.
Almost there. The lady should be investigating those ruins.
Who is this scholar? To go alone into places like this? I can hear horrors lurking ahead.
Switching attack modes. Troops have two modes of attack. They can target the closest horror, or they can target the most dangerous horror. You can swap between these attack modes using a button on the troop's action panel. So, there is the pick target and the choose target. So, in this case, the Herald, I can say, target the most deadliest enemy, and the Lobber, who does AoE, targets the closest or nearest enemy.
Huh?
And these are really important because certain units do really high damage to single target, and other units do splash damage to many targets. So using target priority appropriately is very crucial to your success.
Right away. Doing it.
There's more wood salvage down here.
Yes.
And then up this way, there seems to be stone salvage, so we'll grab that too. And if you're ever lost, you can always hit M to figure out the overall direction that you have to travel to. And there's also usually quest markers like this one. But this tutorial mission plays very differently than a lot of the other types of missions. This is just to introduce you
Right
to the
away.
control scheme and building mechanics. So we have to get up to here. So let's figure that out. You can't build in the mist. So this mist here is essentially impassable. The horrors sometimes can walk around in the mist, but you, the players, cannot. It's deadly to us. So in order to bridge this gap here, I need a piece that can bridge it like that. And then the rest of this just can be stairs. And I think that will do. Now, with that said, there is a finite amount of support. So let me delete this and just show you what I mean.
Not
This
enough
wood piece is not supported enough to be built. So you can't just make stairways into heaven without foundational supports. You do need to continually support structures because gravity is a thing in this game. And stone requires a lot more support than wood. So for instance, I can only put 2 of these stone blocks in a stair-like alignment, whereas with the wood I could put up to 3. And that plays a big role when trying to
doing it.
utilize like fortress building mechanics, as you'll see later on. Also, it's worth noting that wood cannot support stone. So a wood piece can't hold a stone piece kind of no matter what. So here is a stone strut, and it can't hold the wood strut rather, and it can't hold the stone block,
Right away.
even if it's the only thing that's trying to hold up.
On it. Lady Iris, I bring an urgent request. Ogar expects an attack. The gates are... She listened to my message, or pretended to listen. It didn't matter. She knew what to do.
If Ogar calls, we go.
Complete. A herald's message. And if you want, you can always view the stats and the score, difficulty, kill death ratio, etc. And this was the first tutorial mission, so let's get to playing more of the meat of the game, now that we
But if I
understand the
tell
basic
you this
mechanics.
story, it must be told from the beginning. This was our world. Then the Perlas appeared, and everything changed. They revealed a great secret to humanity, a great power, the Palido. We built ourselves a sublime domain. The Perlas glowed for us. Yet as time passed, we realized everything has a price. You all know what happened next. The Cataclismo. The land was drowned in mist, and from this mist, on pale legs, emerged fresh horror. The survivors ran. They sought a new home, scrambling to higher ground to save themselves. That is how Ciudad Hogar was founded. The city where we have been surviving for generations.
The last city, Hogar.
We made good time. The Solar Gate stands as firm as ever. But if the reports are true, the gate will be under attack soon.
Lady Iris is a special unit, born with a Perla. She's one of the few living scholars able to perform Artes, a cornerstone of humanity's defense.
Our scouts say the swarm is arriving from the south.
Horrors are attracted to human settlements and attack frequently. Swarms attack every night, but scattered horrors can also sometimes attack in daylight. Generations of defenders have learned to anticipate the direction and force of incoming swarms. By hovering over the red icon, you can see what kind of enemy is expected and how big the swarm will be.
Oh, Guardians, take defensive positions.
If your view becomes obstructed, you can apply camera filters to help, such as transparency filter, that lets you look through certain pieces. Use the eye symbol to find these filters. So they are a transparency filter. So the transparency filter allows you to see the internal stairwell structures of the Solar Gate, for instance. So if we want to deploy our archers here, we can see how to go about that, where we would enter and ascend the stairs here. Of course, the troops will do that automatically, but here would be the entryway. Let's turn off that filter. I actually find that it's more difficult to even see. And then there are the grid and camera height. So the grid allows you to see unit size, because not all units are 1 by 1. Some units are larger.
Yeah.
And this mission wants us to deploy our archers on the
Post me
walls.
high. I'm on it.
Your objectives, and I'll go over a little bit more of the UI because it's not exactly explained. You have the time here, where right now it's in the morning, and every night we get attacked. This will show how many waves are going to attack us, but we're still sort of in the tutorial. This is obviously a compass: west, north, east, south. And then if you click on the objectives, it will have a little drop-down menu of your objectives and secondary objectives, or optional objectives. So we have to move to the marked positions with the units and defend the Solar Gate from attacks. The next is the map view, which I've shown before, and then the filters that they have there. And then the bottom left, you have the building modes. So recycle, eyedropper, and undo.
The night is nearly here.
With that said, the scenery, which is the pieces of the map that were pre-built for you, cannot be recycled. So I can't go ahead and just delete pieces of the Solar Gate because I wasn't the one that built it. So now that it is nighttime, we have an incoming wave. And this is what the wave counter looks like. So there are scores of basic horrors coming. And the tutorial moves on. Unit height specialization. Remember that every troop has a preferred height. Build your defenses in a way that benefits both high ground and low ground troops. Lady Iris doesn't have any high ground or low ground bonuses, but she will learn special attacks called arties as she grows in skill. So these archers are at 11 meters up from the bottom target. And you can see their range and coverage here. And yes, indeed, they are benefiting from the height bonus, which is now a little icon here. So because we are standing at a Merlin, we also gain a range boost. Increased attack range from peering through Merlins or windows. So if you stand by a window, which would be here, or Merlin, like up here, you gain a range bonus as well. And there's a lot of other construction bonuses to take into consideration as well. It's not just range, there's also damage and special attacks, and it goes on and on and on.
Prepare to fight. Here they come.
Okay, here they come. So this is what the horrors look like. The basic ones. And they come flooding on in. The horrors are not exactly intelligent. So as you can see, they are happy to attack stairwells and other non-defensive structures in their path. So another strategy that you can employ, although albeit a wasteful one, is to put a lot of sort of debris in the attack area to force the horrors to attack debris as you whittle down their numbers. We survived the night.
That was too small for a swarm, and too easy.
Lady Iris, no doubt the true swarm will arrive tonight. But with the small force we have...
Then we build, Herald. Another defensive layer out there.
More walls? It's true, we have plenty of stone, but...
Building stone defenses. Higher stone walls have more health and last longer under attack. The taller a wall, the tougher it is. This is called toughness, and it makes stone pieces essential defensive building blocks. When a stone structure's toughness increases, you will see an appearance change slightly. Toughness can be increased up to 3 times. In short, high walls are healthy walls.
Let's make sure these new walls stand firm.
So I'm going to pause the game, and this part of the objective is to build an extra bonus gate in front. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, in terms of the stone wall health, let me just demonstrate, because obviously you can get full refunds. So this is the visual change, where it visually looks different than the ones before it. So these stone bricks have very low toughness. They are 6 HP apiece, which gets shredded pretty quickly under attack. Because this is slightly higher, this has 60. And that's not the only toughness. You can just keep going up and up and up. As they said, tall walls are tough walls, so now we're up to 150. And higher yet is the final tier. Now we're up to 300. So when you're designing your defenses, design them in such a way that it takes advantage of the toughness. But toughness requires vertical stacks of stone. Alright, so I'm going to throw together, and because this is still a tutorial mission, it isn't that difficult, I will just say. So I'm going to throw together a little wall here. Now, the other thing that might be useful is not to stack the blocks like I did here, but to stagger them. Like this. So that you can't lose an entire vertical section in one attack. So the stone brick here inherits toughness from both of the bricks above it. Because if you stack them in a column, if the enemies focus on one bottom piece of that column, the whole column will fall pretty quickly. Meaning that the units deployed on top of the column will fall as well. Building tips. When placing building pieces, try dragging instead of clicking. So that would be like this, where I can put down one and then drag across to deploy multiples. Very, very handy. And now, this wall has inherited its first level of toughness, which I'm pretty sure is enough for this tutorial mission. Then I want to build some way to, like, get on top of it, because if you don't have units stationed on it, all it's doing is delaying the enemies from destroying it. So put some stairs. And then, after that, it'd be great if we took advantage of... Actually, the tutorial here hasn't given me any Merlins. So maybe I won't use the Merlins. Maybe I'll just make this a little bit higher. A little bit more tough. There's a very limited amount of defensive pieces that you get access to early on. So then I'm out of normal brick. That's pretty much as high as I could go with the budget that I currently have of stone. It's also probably worth mentioning that this eventually becomes like a RTS, where you have to acquire your own stone, coring it up, and building your defenses appropriately. There are parts of the game mode that are like this, where you don't, but mostly...
Not enough stone.
Mostly the game gets to a point where you're, well, you'll see. Okay, so now I have some sections that have gone up to high toughness. And I'll see if I can't get high toughness out of everything. So for these areas here, I'm going to delete these and put like stacks.
Not enough stone.
There we go. So now everything is high toughness. It's ugly as sin, but it was functional. And all I have to do is increase the height of this this stairwell so that we can get up to the top more easily. Or at all, I should say. And there's a whole bunch of different ways to build stairwells. I'm not looking to necessarily build a very efficient one. Doesn't need to be perfect, just needs to work.
Not enough stone.
Oh, I don't have a turn section. Okay, I'm gonna have to build my stairs on the other side because we can't turn to that angle. I'll build my stairs here. Actually, I could just build them along the wall. If anything, that offers even more defense, because if they somehow get through the outer layer, they have to go through an inner layer, which is it works for me.
Not enough stone.
Let's see. I kind of did this wrong. The best thing I can do, given my limited resources, is to put a piece like this in this section as the final climb up. There we go. And now we can build our ladder. There is a blueprint mechanic that you gain access to a little bit later on, allowing you to just copy and paste designs so that you don't have to redesign the same thing over and over again. And this will make a lot more sense once we're building fortresses and settlements. It also wanted me to place the stone pieces in the area. That's a bit of a problem because I just designed everything not having done that. So I'm going to see if I can't just game the tutorial here.
Not enough stone.
To allow me to continue without.
We could use some sort of passage through our new structure.
And then it's asking for me to modify an existing structure. So I can pause, and what pausing allows me to do is to prevent like gravity from making the whole thing collapse, so that I can redesign a section. So what it's saying is add a gate. So if I pause the game and I, let's say, delete
Not enough
down
stone.
here, with it paused, it won't immediately collapse the entire thing. So that way I can then deploy like a gate piece and not have the whole thing collapse. Essentially swapping out a part. Which is great, because, you know, I wouldn't really want it to collapse. And then we have a door. The tutorial wants me to place more stone pieces in the area, so I'm just going to remove a few sections over here just to satisfy the tutorial.
Not
Throwing
enough
debris
stone.
around in the field in front. I need 2 more pieces. 1, 2.
It's a strong wall, Lady Scholar. But next to the Solar Gate, it's... never mind.
Tactical pieces are special pieces that provide benefits to nearby defenses or units. They each have different effects. Combining these in clever ways will help you in your war against the horrors. Place your tactical pieces thoughtfully. Your units must stand next to a tactical piece to gain its benefits during battle. As you progress through the game, more tactical pieces will be added. Use them throughout to maximize your defense. So the ones I have access to now
Merlons atop the wall.
are Merlons, which add a range boost. And that's all that I have access to at the moment.
Not enough stone.
And now the defenses actually look decent again. Perhaps? Maybe? And it wants me to put 2 more Merlins down to satisfy the tutorial. No problem. I'll put a range boost here and a range boost there. One of the other things that you might have noticed is the range boost Merlin also increased the quality of the wall beneath it, making it tougher. I can also take advantage of that by changing the direction of these pieces here so that they're like back like this, and then put the Merlins down here, increasing the quality of the wall so that most of the wall is the maximum toughness. The problem is the walkability of this piece of the wall is pretty low as a result. So I'm not going to design it that way. I just wanted to show you how that you can build with synergy so that you can maximize your toughness. Again, as being part of the tutorial, I don't need a max toughness wall. Alright, it wants me to build the Merlins in the area, so I gotta move these, actually. The other thing I could do is if we employ lobbers. Lobbers obviously want to be closer to the ground, so I could also design like a lobber piece of the base so that lobbers benefit from the design as well. So by putting, I'm going to have to delete some blocks over here. By putting a gate here, it allows a lobber to stand much lower to the ground to benefit from the lobber's range strengths. And I think what I'll do is I'll build it like this. No, that is unsupported. Maybe I'll just stick ugly supports like that. Buttresses, if you will. How high is this? Let's assume that it's like the correct height. I don't really need to min-max this. I just wanted to demonstrate the principle. Right. So now we can have lobbers with their own Merlins on a lower tier, and our archers on an upper tier, or something akin to that.
The solar gate is adorned with banners too.
Banners boost the base attack damage of nearby units. So here's another tactical piece. These banners give a boost to adjacent units in all directions. So as you can see, it can improve up to 8 units at once. You can't stand on where the banner is. And in order to take advantage of this fully, I should put these Merlin pieces adjacent to one another, so that one banner can affect 2 units at once. That would be a little bit more ideal. So spacing it out like this. So you have a banner and then the archers on top. Like that. But it wants me to put the banners in the area. Basically, I built my entire wall like 1 unit too far back.
A pretty wall counts for nothing if no one is manning it. Let's go.
Alright, and defend.
It's no grand gatehouse, but I'll take it.
So I'm moving my archers that I have up to it.
The city sends building materials and more troops.
Sundown is coming. We need them on this wall now.
Grouping units. You can group multiple units together to create a squad of troops that can quickly be selected. When the horror comes, you'll need the right troops and fast. So it's control groups, very much like StarCraft or Warcraft, where you control one to hotkey a group to one, and that gets the entire group. So like the reinforcements that I had, I put on 2.
The night is nearly here.
Where to?
And I'm going to pause the game and take a look at what new supplies I have. So they gave me a few blocks, nothing special. So let's go and get these units up on the walls.
Yeah.
I also don't have access to where the lobber's supposed to be. I don't know if I have the blocks for even building access to that. Maybe. I really hacked this together. You know, I'm not even going to worry about it. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Bust a whole wall.
Post me high.
We will prevail.
Okay. So I'm just moving all the troops up to the walls. And then some of them are going to get a bunch of the bonuses, but not all of them.
Let's go already.
Right away.
Let's go already.
So I'm putting the lobbers next to
Yeah.
the archers.
I'm ready.
And then I'm also going to change their default targeting. So these archers are going to target the deadliest enemy.
Eyes open.
Where to?
So they, with their damage bonuses,
Yes. Post me high.
not you. With their damage bonuses, they target the deadliest enemy, whereas everyone else is just targeting the closest. So we're going to be hit by hundreds of them. Hundreds. Got it. And in this case, we can hit F, fast forward, to accelerate to beyond sundown, where they actually attack. So a swarm of horrors will attack when the red timers around the compass is full. Red icons also show the directions of incoming swarms. Hover over these to see the expected enemy type and numbers. I feel like I'm ready.
The dark night.
It's sunset. The swarm is here.
Now, because all of the enemies are of the same type, the priority targeting that I gave the damage boosted archers doesn't really matter. And then down here, you can see the hit point of the bricks. So like 144 is dropping. So these parts of the game should remind you a little bit of They Are Billions, or Diplomacy is Not an Option, or Thronefall, something like that, with its own unique spin. And the actual building mechanics and the combat mechanics reminds me a bit of the fortress building in Going Medieval.
It's over. But it is strange. Our forest garrison should have felt the swarm.
You think something happened to them?
All I know is that the horrors have not been this close to the city in a long time.
Complete.
That night, Iris defended the city gates from the horrors of the mist. With her peers in the Order, our sworn defenders. Yet, this was not the first time Ogar stood against its enemies. 30 years before that night, while the Order was once again fighting for their families, for all of us, a quiet sound began that would change our history. And when the Perla scholars opened their door, there she was. Between her tiny arms, a perla embedded in her chest. You already know, a perla is not a trivial thing. You could die just by touching one. And yet here was an infant with one of these things inside her.
She'll die without us.
She's a horror in disguise, I tell you. A horror!
One looked on in silence, and when she stepped forward, all arguments ceased.
She carries a perla, yes, but also a book.
Rectora Elena. She always seemed to understand things. Others could not.
Do we not value knowledge? The child is a beacon. Bring her in. Call her Iris.
So, the scholars of the Ivory adopted the girl as their own child. And she grew like any other. Slowly, but steadily. Always carrying her book, filled with stories from the past. But Iris was not any other child. As soon as the scholars allowed it, she became a chief defender of the city. And what does a good defender do when an attacker becomes too bold? She plays it smart. She goes in search of answers among the trees, beyond the walls. If we had known what she would come to face, Ciudad Ogar would have shut all doors and windows, and for the first time in centuries, prayed.
Thank you for tuning in to Cataclismo, which originally streamed live on Twitch August 13th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you at next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Ogarians.